Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Football Manager 2020. This is episode number 4, and we're just about ready to begin the season. Our first game against Hull City, just a couple days away. Looking back on our recent games, you can see just how much the team has improved of late. Now, some of it's depending on the opponents, but after losing to our own under-23s and losing to Salzburg, and then barely surviving against a weaker opponent in the Friendly Cup semifinal, and then losing pretty badly to Prague, we then got things rolling. Again, it did start with a couple pretty easy opponents, but it got tougher as we went along, and our performances were more and more dominant. Our last friendly of the season was against the Bundesliga side, Mainz, and we should have won that game. We really should have won that game. We had a goal disallowed for offside that upon replay wasn't offside, but no VAR. Their goal was a penalty that didn't appear to be a foul, but of course, you know how this game is in regards to that. If you've ever played it before, you never actually see the fouls that are committed, but it looked like a good challenge. And he clearly won the ball, and the player never even went down. It should have been 2-0. So we are looking really good right now as we go to enter the season. Before we get into that, though, let's break a couple things down. Squad is slightly different than it was. For one thing, we brought in John Lundstrom, so that move was completed, that I was pointing out at the end of the last time. Of course, we also had Matty Longstaff coming in. So our center mid pairing is much improved from where we were. Tom Carroll, injured for months prior to the season, was back 2 days after resuming full training, not even getting into a preseason game. 2 days after resuming full training, he goes down with another injury. So I don't know. Actually, this would be a good time to check on this. The player history here in regards to injuries, because it's literally been constant. So look at the medical report. So he's out 4 months with a hip injury. He's out 2 months with a hip injury the prior season. And then he gets a twisted knee, which he's only been out 3 days for so far. And he is expected to return in just a day or two. But he would be a super sub at best at this point with the recent history. So looking at pretty... yeah, injury susceptibility was pretty high coming back from that. So until he gets healthy, don't expect to see him feature too often. Now, the big news, though, is a move that I made intentionally, because after analyzing the roster, you saw we had zero transfer budget at all. This team was unable to make any moves. We had a lot of players go out last season, and yet we were still within 10,000 of our cap on player salaries, giving me next to no room to work with. And that's even after the team sold Dan James to Manchester United for just about $20 million. We also lose quite a few other talented players. Leroy Fair is gone. Michael Vorm is gone. Jordan Ayew left his brother behind to Crystal Palace for a very small amount of money. Oliver McBurney going to Sheffield United for $22 million. So everything outgoing was money involved. And the only player brought in with any sort of fee was Christopher Peterson, who is not good enough by any means. 3.5-star guy, but he's he's a winger, and so for us doesn't fit into the size very well. So Heracles Almelo is where he came from, and for a very small fee, and that's it. That's been all. 850K out, 44 million in, but we had to do something. So here's what I've done. Montero out on loan to save his wages, 39,000 per month. The bigger thing is Jan Dunda. I sold him. He was never going to be good enough. He was 2-star max potential. So we sold him to Derby for 250,000 right off the bat, but a deal worth up to 675,000, and his value was only about 500,000. So for me, that was a great deal. Meanwhile, Erwin Mulder, our backup goalkeeper, became third-string goalkeeper after we got a goalkeeper in on loan who was better than the other two, and all three are very similar to each other, and Mulder was on the lower end of that. He was already transfer listed. I went ahead and got him to agree to a deal with Wilhelm II for 800,000. So not a huge deal, but we're able to save, I think it was 16,000 in salary is what he was making for us. So that's a decent amount of extra salary that we didn't have previously. But here's the big move. Andre Ayew. Yeah, good player. And I like both of the Ayew brothers. And I was definitely a fan of having them on the Swansea side. But Ayew, a winger, can play as a striker, but did not fit into the center of midfield at all. At all. He was way down the depth chart in that regard. Striker as well. He's definitely a winger. And so Ayew was fifth best as a striker. Was never going to see the pitch. Now, Ayew, I let go on a free. Now, he's a talented player, 3.5 stars. But he was making 110,000 per week. And I tried, at first, to see if I could get him to... You can see Scout Summary is a 66. That's not very high. I tried to see if he would sign a new deal, a longer deal, for a more reasonable salary. He wanted more money. He wanted more money than what he was already making. He was making 13% of the team's entire budget just for him. To me, this is Alexis Sanchez written all over it for a club like Swansea. He was just eating up all of our salary. Now, he had value, 10, 12 million, but nobody wanted to take on his salary demands. So I tried to sell him when he wouldn't sign a deal for less than what he was making. And when nobody was willing to sign him, I went ahead and accepted a deal. He's going to Al Ali and Saudi Arabia. And I agreed to pay part of his salary. So I'm taking a loss on this for Ayew. But for a player who was not going to play at all, but was costing us 13% of our salary, I've wiped out nearly all of that. So to me, that was worth it to take that loss to give the team a little bit of hope long term. So now what we're looking at here, and they're showing me training performance right now, not what I was hoping to see. Let's go into the finances. So we now have a transfer budget of, it's still small, okay, it's not a lot, but we have freed up a little bit of money. But more importantly, our payroll, we're 110,000 below max payroll. So now I do have a little bit of room I can play with a little bit to see if we can't make another move. One thing I've got to be careful of, though, is the squad. So within the squad, we can have a maximum of 5 lone players in the match squad. That includes on the pitch and on the bench. Right now, if we go by ability, I have Longstaff, Woodman, the keeper who got us to replace the other one. Lundstrom, who did pick up a little bit knock, but he'll be fine. It's just coming off of what was it? It was minor. It was leg, tight calf. There you go. Just a few days, so not a big deal there. Wilmot, who is our backup center back. I prefer to have him on the bench, especially without another. And then Kalulu, but also our backup forward, Sam Surridge. Now, at this point, it's Sam Surridge who is the most likely to get excluded more often than not, even though he's got really pretty good potential. But he is able to be replaced by the likes of Wayne Routledge at that forward position, so Routledge could come on as this in that sub role over Surridge more often than not, even though they're pretty equivalent to each other in that role. Routledge, of course, is a winger first and foremost. So that's kind of where we're looking now. I've got a lot of good wingers, and I can still exclude some more of those and replace other players on the pitch, because from what I'm seeing, this tactic can work really well. Just the one thing that hurts is, what do I have player personnel wise? I have a lot of quality wingers on this team, and we're weak in some other areas. So I do need to make a transition. I mean, George Byers right now is kind of our top talent at the camp, so I'm at this point, with the money we now have, and that deal just went through on IU, I'm going to be looking for a center back, which will then free us up on dropping Wilmot. And if they get upset, want him back, they can have him, because Rodon would be our backup, and we'd get our new player playing alongside Vanderhoorn, or, and I'm looking for somebody speedy for that, or a center attacking mid, or maybe both. But those are the two positions that I'm looking at now as we head into the start of the season. And in terms of the deadline, transfer deadline, we've got just a handful of days left. So we're pretty limited right now on what we can do, but we've got a little bit of time still to try to make a move. So I will spend some time in scouting to see. I have been looking for center backs for a little while, but what I was initially looking for was I was actually trying to look for some sort of player exchange where we could take a young player who was going to be clearly less talent-wise, but I was going to try to make a straight swap for IU. And now that we've been able to get him sold off, we're kind of back to the drawing board on that. These were the players that were already in save. James Garner is a possibility. He could play center back, but he is right now at Cardiff on loan from Man United. Current ability does look pretty good, but in terms of center back, he's not there, or pace either, and I've already filled otherwise. Max Kilman was somebody I was looking at as an option, but again, this is actually something I could look into. I could look again here at Max Kilman. If we're drawing a comparison, let's see here. It would be not Vanderhoorn who he's replacing, but it would be Wilmot and then Rodon. So let's see where we're at in comparison. Rodon in blue. No, definitely superior as a defender right now over Kilman. So no, Kilman is not somebody, though he could be a reserve brought in to replace Wilmot if it's cheap. But even Wilmot's looking a little bit better. So, no, I'll get back to looking for that. But for now, we need to get our season started. So I do have this little bit to play with now. I've been bringing in a lot of young players that have plenty of potential that we could either turn around and sell them for a lot more because we're signing them on freeze, 5 to 7,000 in terms of loyalty, bonuses, but otherwise we are have not been spending thus far, so we have a lot to. Why is Mike Vanderhoort a talking point? Okay. Press conference. That's why. So, season ready to get started, and here is our opening press conference. Oh, there you go. See, look who it is. Mike Vanderhoort's performances to be key. Yes, they absolutely are. When he plays well, everyone else does too. Do I think we can get off to a winning start? I'm actually not even sure what we're in for with Hull, but I think we certainly could. I work towards right mentality and philosophy. Every match we play will help to develop that. Lundstrom be available. We are hoping to have him available. Are you departing? Many have suggested that you may hand more opportunities to some of the club's younger players, such as Peterson. Peterson, no, but yes, we are looking to some younger players. Something I'd like to do. If a player is good enough, then his age doesn't matter. Noted to sign a number of young players. Conscious effort on the club to build for the future. Yes. Signing these kinds of players gives us a better chance of a bright future. Transfer window slams shut in just a few days. We are looking to conclude some deals. How much do I think it'll help the locker room atmosphere? That's kind of funny. And yes, he was not necessarily a dissenting figure, but he was not promoting a positive atmosphere. Okay, there you go. Just about ready to start the season. One more day. You look at us compared to others. We've brought in 9 players in all. Remember, last year's squad was just gutted at the end of the season before I took over the team. So we had sold off a ton of players, and we had a very small U23 squad, which has now filled back out with help from our head of youth development. But I've also sent some guys on the way. Look at that list of players out. It might be 4 right now, 4 since I've taken over, but it's been a lot more than that overall. And that in list is quite short. You can see the list of free transfers there, all young players coming in and decent potential. So the head of youth department is definitely finding some players that could net us some transfer fees, if not find themselves on the field eventually. Alright, I'll go ahead and handle the briefing this time, though I've not gotten much in responses of late. We definitely want the high pressing intensity. Nobody's responding to that either. Stay on. Oh, that's right. They wanted me to switch tactics, and no, we're not doing that. We're not going to spend the whole preseason learning a tactic to hit our first game and go, oh, wait, now we're not going to do it. Depending on the team, I like to adapt and play lots of different styles. Or I like to really hammer home one tactic and play it regardless of who you're playing against. And some teams it's going to work, and some teams it's not going to work. Right now, we're still hammering home a single tactic. And in terms of that, in terms of preparation, see familiarity, still not 100%, but from where we were, the team is quite fluid in it now, or accomplished. So the tempo, they're almost there. The width, they're almost there. But the positional duty, that was way down at the bottom, and now they're getting pretty good with it. And it's really starting to show with the team. They are figuring it out. So Luton Town over Middlesbrough to open the season, 2-1. Not sure where Middlesbrough is, but I think Luton Town was picked as one of the relegation sides. So good start for them to open the season. And they came from behind too. Like we have another player, and this is what I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing a lot of players come in around a 1.5 to 2 star range, with about a 2.5, 2 to 3 star potential. So not fantastic, but at some point I think I might pull the pin on Reese and stop stop what he's doing, because he's really going after it. So we're looking at top half. Okay, transfer budget, payroll budget has suddenly slipped to 600,000. Why? Hopefully it hasn't actually done that. Mason Jones-Thomas set to move on loan to Macclesfield. Okay. And Mansfield want Oliver Cooper. These are some of those new signings on their way out. Homegrown players, yeah, we've got plenty there. Lundstrom good to go. Tom Carroll apparently is good to go, but of course his match sharpness is at just 50%. And ready for the season opener. Ever so slight favorites. This is what you call a tight contest that could go either way. I like Hull City's new uniform. I've never been a fan of the home uniform for Swansea. I definitely do not have an affinity to them based on their uniforms. I like the away uniform this year, and I do like that the home uniform is not just pure white. It does have a little bit of flavor to it. Never been a fan of white uniforms, though I did play on an outdoor team for a while that did have a pure white with a black trim to it. So I've actually had a very similar uniform to this one. But the two teams that I play on these days, both indoor teams, we have a Man City sky blue, which all of us hate. None of us like Man City, but it was kind of the color that was available in that league that only one other team had. We have a huge league on that day. It's an over 30s league, co-ed, indoor, and there's one other team in blue. And so most of the time it doesn't force us into some sort of change. We've got a purple for our reserve color when we do play that other team. And my other team is orange. Also ironic, because I went to University of Oregon and we are green in colors. Our old colors were green, but we switched it up when we got new jerseys. And our rival is the Oregon State Beavers, who are orange. Let's see. Fans? Sure. First game at home. Let's do it for the fans. No, you don't care. Okay, fine. So you're not fired up for your first game of the season for a sellout crowd? Lame, guys. Lame. Okay. Okay, I thought I fixed you. You are set way too fast still. Oh, come on. Really? Sorry, preseason I had things moving really quick. And right off the bat, hole come out 2 minutes into the game and put it in the back of the net. Not the start we wanted, guys, and that's why you should have been fired up. So I should be yelling at you already. If they don't pick it up here real soon, I will. Still slightly laggy. Make another adjustment to the graphics soon. I didn't really take care of that much. There's a good opportunity. We're going to get a lot of shots. We will get a lot of shots with this squad, but defense will occasionally still be suspect. That's actually the first goal of that type that I've given up, regardless of who we played against. There's an opportunity. Poor shot by Bidwell, though. Free kick here. Fulton out to Roberts in that space where I'm finding lots and lots of space against our opponents. They are not covering those fullbacks well. Here's Fulton out to Bidwell. Wide open. Resets to Fulton, though. Bidwell this time stays tucked in, so he is guarded. He's going to pull it outside. He's got the cross in. Nearly a chance. Fulton resets to Grimes. Grimes out to Bidwell again. Wide open on the flank. Borja gets the look. Should have done better. That is good enough for a corner, though. Grimes takes the corner. Sets up for us. Kalulu can't get to that one. It's reset out. Fulton, though, recovers into Bidwell, who is still inside from the corner kick. And already we're out shooting them, we're out possessing them, we're looking better after that initial mistake early on in that second minute. And the rain has begun to fall here on the Welsh coastline. Fulton out to Bidwell, always in space there. Fulton again out to Bidwell. Bidwell resets to Byers. There's the cross finally, resetting over to the other fullback, Roberts, but he sends it back to the center back. Ooh, poor ball from Vanderhoorn on that one. Gives it away, and Hull looking to counter, but Roberts gets the ball back. The press is doing its trick. There's that long ball over the top that we sometimes get. Kalulu tries to chip it over Long, but Long stood his ground, was prepared, and makes the easy catch. It was not chipped over him, so he didn't bite on that fake from Kalulu trying to get him to go down. Vanderhoorn gives it away a second time. Another big mistake from Vanderhoorn. And Woodman steps up this time and makes the save. The corner. Oh, I thought we cleared that back. We didn't. They got to it first. Kick taken short. Out to Roberts in space. And over the top to Kalulu, who's behind, but he's going to have to take it towards the corner flag. Resets to Bidwell. Bidwell with the cross. Roberts wide open. That's fullback to fullback, and they get their first goal of the season, and we're level before halftime and have the momentum. Hull might have grabbed that first minute goal, but it's been all us since, other than one mistake by Vanderhoorn. Nice goal from Roberts. You're going to see a lot of assists from our fullbacks and the occasional goal because they switch flank to flank in this formation pretty often. Rodon up to Byers. Byers hangs on to it too long. He was poor in possession on that one. That's a couple times we've given away those easy balls, and that was a bit too close for comfort there. So outside of some mistakes, we have dominated the first half. Shots are 5-5 though. This game is far from over. We've got to cut out some mistakes. Longstaff playing a bit nervous here. Longstaff is just 19-year-olds on loan from Newcastle. He is lacking in experience. This is his first professional appearance. So Longstaff, we've got to get him out of that nervousness here soon. Get him the experience he needs. Everybody's looking good on their match shape. Fulton has only been a part-time guy here, so surprised that he's the one who gets the nod today. Let's see. Not doing bad. Unlucky. No, definitely not unlucky. I want to be positive, but at the same time, it's... I think if we keep working hard... Yeah, I'm going to go calmly with that one. Ugh, no response. Okay, well, let's try the second message. There's more to come. More to come. And there's more to come. We at least got a few guys fired up this time. Remember, the first half, nobody responded to anything. All right, there we go. Out to the flank. Bidwell. Byers, that's the nice thing about stacking the middle is it keeps opening that flank for us. And our width is coming from just 2 players, while everybody else is just forcing the other teams to defend tight down the middle. And there you go, open chance for Borja, but the header it looked like that was off target, even if Long didn't get to that one. Up there, long ball easily intercepted by Rodon. Rodon with the long ball over the top to Kalulu. He does get behind his defender. He had Bastion in tight. You lay that off for him. The low ball pulled back, and Bastion's wide open in front of goal. So poor choice by Kalulu on that one. Again to the outside. Fulton again to the outside. We keep finding that space there. Byers, Fulton, Grimes, Longstaff out to the other winger. Kalulu, I think, was offside. Yep, free kick given. Kalulu was definitely offside there. And we're coming up on an hour. Rodon now composed after being nervous. We're still Longstaff nervous. Let's see what we can do. Uh-oh, long ball over the top. That's the one I worry about. And Woodman doesn't move a freaking muscle. He doesn't come out and challenge him. He doesn't even try to dive to save. He just froze. Boy, he did really poor there. Could be an offside, but I don't think so. I think it was timed well. And now we're going to have to play a little more aggressive. That was Rodon just like that, back to being nervous. That's the one I worry about. That's why I want to look for a center back who has some speed to respond to those balls over the top, because we're playing that high line. So that is where we are vulnerable defensively. And faster players are going to do a little bit better with that. We are going to need some sort of change up here. I'm not sure where to go with it just yet. So Peterson is available. Fulton or Longstaff, actually. Yeah, Longstaff, who's been playing nervous and just not coming down. Let's go ahead and get him out of there. Rodon's been on the edge. I think this play kind of set him off a little bit. So we'll start with just the one move. Surge for Kalulu could be coming. But we'll give it a little more time. Now in the meantime, I need to shout a demand more. And we're going to turn this into an attacking set now. It's time to be aggressive. Get back into this. Fulton lays it off for Grimes. Grimes chips it over to Bidwell. Bidwell had room to run. Again, we hit Bidwell into Byers. Byers over to Peterson. And Peterson, that's the kind of shot we're looking for, but he just didn't get much of that ball. Borja switches all the way out to Bidwell. Again, that flank wide open. Grimes, Rodon sends it out to the flank in Roberts. Roberts hasn't done much today, and he turns that one over. Hangs onto it way too long. Coughed it up way too easy. That challenge should have been better. Rodon didn't do so well. Most of the team now focused. I did see one negative there. It looked like it might have been Bastion. Bastion is the guy with the attitude that we're constantly having to deal with, whether he's going to focus. I was hoping that was just preseason, and that once we get into... Ooh! Whoa! That was a very nice goal, admittedly, from a hole there. And it looks like we might open the season with a loss. Roberts gets there, and he gets his foot to the ball first, but he leaves it open. And I think that's Bidwell who's beaten by his man. Marshall gets behind him. That's a really nice cross, but not enough pressure. And he is onside. Alright, well, it's time to go very attacking. pressure is not there enough right now, nor is the marking. We're leaving guys in all kinds of space. The away fans are crowding. There's a little pressure, and Bidwell over the top to Borja. Borja's got to do something with this, and he does not. Borja really makes a mess of that one. Back to Kalulu, and it's time for our last two subs while we can. Surge, get Kalulu out of there. We got to trust that Borja can do more. And then, what are we looking at? Selena for Byers, because he's anxious. So, make those changes up front. Come on, guys. Woodman with the long ball out to Roberts. Roberts, nice ball, switching it to Bidwell on the other flank. Lays it off for Kalulu. Again, lays it off for Byers. Good shot. Gets the corner. Offensively, we're creating well. It's the defensive concerns that need to be addressed. And there is Rodon! First goal of the season. We're back in it. 12 minutes to go. And we still have a chance to at least come away with a point today. After a poor defensive performance, the offense has looked strong and certainly is capable of pulling another goal. Free kick here. Vanderhorn clears it, but he clears it the wrong way. Luckily, we were on the end of it. Selena off to the races. He's got some space. He's beat his man. Lays it off. Oh, Servage. You've got to put that ball home. He didn't need a lot on it, but could have easily put that in the back of the net with just a little bit of power on it. Good cross there. Marshall's been tearing us up today, along with Grosicki. Good clearance, good pressure. Now Borja is going to wait for help. Peterson, long ball ahead to Surge. Surge behind the defense. Chooses the poor one. He pulls it in when his defender is on the inside instead of taking it out wide. There's Grimes. Recovers the ball. And we move on to the next replay. We still have a little bit of time here. Peterson. Oh, off the crossbar. Borja can't pounce on it. Defense just clears it out. It's out for the throw and not the corner. Long throw here. Running out of time. Roberts lays it off for Grimes. Grimes with a very nice ball, but the defense just gets to there to clear it out. And it's time for another shout, I think. It's time for a demand more, because we are still down. Bidwell, even though they are giving me more already, but hopefully this will fire them up. There's a chance. And it does work there. They are focused. Korsicki over the top. Offside. It looked like he went very early on that one. The line did a really good job holding firm. Well, you've got open guys. Rodon. Oh, Rodon with the long ball. Not a fan of that one. But intercepted by Borja. Roberts into Grimes. And, we're out of time. Comeback almost happens, but not quite. Defense needs some work. 17-8 on shots. 57-43 on possession. But their opportunities were wide open, easy scores. So we created the most, but defensively we gave up a few way too easy kind of balls. Now, Rodon showing himself as a good third option, but his rating is because of the goal. Vanderhorn struggled. I need some speed. I need one of those to be an upgrade. So I'm going to focus on center back first here during this time in between this game and the next, and up to the transfer deadline. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up here. We opened the season with the result we were not looking for. We're going to calmly say that was not good enough, and it does fire the team up as we move forward. They're very capable, but not quite there yet. And I think one or two more moves will get us where we need to be. And now that I've freed up that salary, I think we can do something. Oh, what's your... Ouch! Man City, really? One appearance away from making 40. Transfer clause. I don't want to pay City, but what am I to do? Can I get rid of him that quick? He's 22. With potential, I don't want to get rid of him. That's the trouble of it. Alright, well, Ouch. Hopefully that doesn't come out of our current budget and cost me, as that's a previous thing. Hopefully that comes out of our budget of the past. We'll see. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. We're definitely going to be looking for a center back and maybe an attacking center mid in between this episode and the next. But I'll see you on transfer deadline. Bye.